Hi everyone, and thank you for purchasing the Carousel of Details Shopify section by qwiqode. In this video, I'll be showing you how to actually use it. So if you haven't installed it yet, please refer to the separate video included in the package, and you also have access to a PDF with detailed instructions. So to get started, you go to your theme editor, navigate to the page you want to add the section to. Then once you're there, click on Add Section, look for the section that you want to add in, Carousel of Details. And once you do it, you get a default view with 3 items and the active details expanded above. Brief overview: when you have this main section selected, you have a bunch of options here that we'll get to in a minute. And then below you have the different block items. Each block item represents one of these items in the carousel itself. Clicking on one of them, you have the place to add in your content, and sometimes have some settings as well. So let's just get started with that. Let's select an image for the carousel itself. Select this flower here. You have an option to add in a SVG icon instead, like a vector file. To do so, you go to back in the admin area, you go to settings and then files, you upload your SVG there, and you can copy the path and paste it in here, and you'll get the SVG instead. Otherwise, I recommend to use a PNG with a transparent background. But you can use images, you can do anything you want, of course, depending on what information you want to display here. Then you have a block title, which is basically the title that goes here. So since we're going to do flowers, we'll just do flower name. Let's just call it flower name 1. You can select an HTML element for this. This is good for SEO purposes and also utilizing styling that's already set in your theme. We have it set for default H3, but you could select H1, H2, and so on. H1 isn't really recommended, as usually H1 is the main page title at the top, and Google recommends to use just one H1 on each single page. Moving on down, we have the text block here, which is this text here. We'll just add a few more just to make it a little bit longer so you can see it. Then we have a button label. We can have a button here. If you don't want a button, simply remove the text. But if we do, we could just put in, let's say, read more, add the link here, and then down here you can select an image, a larger image to show right there. So if you can use the same image if you want, if it's big enough, or you could use a different one, however you'd like. Select there. For our purposes, let's just show the flower again. So we did this block. Let's do another one. This flower. Block title, let's just say flower name 2. Add some text. Let's remove the button on this one. Go to the third one. Flower name 3. Like so. Select the flower again. Here I forgot to select the flower. Let's add another block. Flower name 4. Let's add 2 more. This one. Right, yeah, that one. And one more. I think I made here. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we add 6. You can add many more. You can add, I believe, up to 16 blocks, but let's just start with that. So once we added all that in, we go back to the top main section up here, and we have a bunch of different options and settings that we can set. First, we can change the section title up here. It's optional, but you could put in our flowers, for instance, like that. Let's capitalize this if we'd like. We can set the HTML element here as well. Since this is a main section, I would recommend using an H2, but again, you're free to choose whatever you'd like. We have an option here to add some text below that maybe explains. Maybe we just want to keep it short. Next, we have some settings for the carousel. We can have it autoplay. Setting it to autoplay, the carousel will automatically jump from one to another. Sometimes you have to save in order to see it actually happening. And then you can set up the speed of how often it changes. Here you could see that it does change every 4 seconds. We can change it to be much faster every second, and it's just looping through like so. Let's just do 4 seconds again. Then we have slides to show how many you want to show at the very top. We have right now 6. So if we have either 6 or more, then we'll see all of them at once. But if you only want to show, let's say, 3, then they do get bigger, and then you have them appear like that, and then they scroll. And of course, you can also drag and drop and all that, and they're clickable as well. Let's make it 5. And they loop infinity. So you can always click and you can see all the items changing. Next, we have option for styling, more styling the entire section. We can add a background color to the entire thing. We can set the section width. Usually this is set for the content width of the site, of the page itself, but you can also make it 75% smaller. You can make it full width so that it stretches from edge to edge of the browser itself. Next, we have top margin, bottom margin, and padding, and top and bottom padding. Margin is the distance above and below the entire section, so you'll most likely have more sections above, like before and after this section, so you can add more space to it, above and below. And padding is the distance within the section itself. So if we want more space here, we can add more space like that, and more breathing room down there. So let's just add that in like that. And for mobile version, we also have the same settings that we can set separately for the mobile. To see the mobile, we can set it like so, and then we can adjust the padding, for instance, right there, like that and like that. Let's go back to desktop. Next, we can adjust the color of the title here. So let's say we'd like to make it black. We can make it left aligned, right aligned. Usually this will be centered. We can select a custom font if we don't want to use the font from the theme. So you would check this box, and then you can go in and select the font that you want from this list. Next, we have title font size, line height, and letter spacing. Keeping them at 0 will use your default values from the theme. Otherwise, you can just adjust the size however you'd like, and letter spacing as well. Same settings for mobile version. And then we have the same settings here for the text block here if you have that enabled as well. So let's just make this, maybe we'll make it just a little bit lighter gray, like that. And then we have font size, line height, and letter spacing, excuse me, also for the text block. Next, we have a setting for the image sizes that appear here. For the icon dimensions, here we don't really see the difference because they are already square, but you can make them portrait, original, or landscape. This is mostly useful if you have an image with a background. So if you do have a set background, like if it's an image or it's a white background or something like that, and you'd like to have them portrait, for instance, you can select portrait and you see cropping already occurs with a set distance in between. So this would work with images that aren't exactly the right size, but you want everything to be uniform. We'll keep this back at original or square. In our case, it doesn't really matter. Same thing for the image dimensions. For the details image, which is this image, you can also set it to be portrait, square, or landscape, or the original image that you added. Next, we have block title color, which is this title here. We can adjust those font sizes. They will all be uniform in all cases. So let's just make this bigger. We'd like that to be bigger. Same settings for the mobile. The same settings for the text block itself. Font size, line height, letter spacing, and font type. And for mobile as well. And we also have the settings for the button that appears here. So let's say we'd like the button to be a little bit smaller, like so. You can add some letter spacing to it. Then we have for the button, let's turn off the automatic so that we can see, we can concentrate on one of them. Going back down, there are a lot of settings here for you. Okay. So we have padding, horizontal padding and vertical padding. If we add horizontal padding, you can make the button bigger, like so. It adds the padding, the distance from the end of the text to the edge of the button before and after, and then vertical padding is top and bottom. So we can make a button bigger. We can change the border width and make it thicker if we'd like. Let's just keep it at 1 for now. Border radius, we can add a radius to make a round button, and we can add margin top and bottom to get some more distance right over there. And we have also margins for the mobile version as well. And lastly, we have button colors that we can select for the regular state and for the hover state. So here, if we'd like the button to actually be solid, then we have a background color here. We can choose, let's just do a blue. We can do the border blue if we'd like. We can also remove the border by setting the border to 0, for instance, and then the text color to white. And then right now, the hover, it turns black, but let's say we'd like the background color to change to this burgundy color. So we'd hover, and then it changes to burgundy color. So that's it. Those are all the settings that we have, which are plenty for you to adjust. You can use this for many different goals on your site and various pages to explain the different features you have or different details of the product that you sell, etc. So that's it. And thank you again. And we hope that this section helps you achieve your website goals. And if you have any questions or need any help, feel free to go to the support page on the website and reach out to us.